Now that we have a basic understanding of air, it's time for us to start selling air. To do that, we need to be able to ask the right questions so that we offer the right product to our clients. Make sure you've built rapport and continue to build rapport when we're asking these questions. So let's start with the basics. Departure city, destination, possible stopovers, and what's taking them there. Okay, Ho Min, that seems very basic. Of course, I have to ask them where they're going to in order to sell a flight. Well, I'm going to give you an example of why this is really important. I had a consultant who had a client who wanted to go to Los Angeles. She didn't ask him why he was going and didn't build any rapport. The client did come back a day later and booked a flight from Los Angeles to Auckland. He then came back a day after that and booked Auckland to Sydney. At the end, he paid more than if he booked a flight all the way to Australia with a stop in New Zealand. Sometimes clients want to fly out of a certain airport, and if you're close to another airport, it's often good to ask if they're flexible and they're open to flying out of another one. So a good example is the New York area. We've got JFK, Newark, LaGuardia, even Philly has some options. And if a client wants to go to Honolulu, perhaps he'd want to try flying out of Newark if it means flying on a flatbed or even to save a few dollars. Dates. At times, your clients will ask you when it's the cheapest. Are they truly flexible with their dates to get the cheapest? Can they be flexible with the dates slightly to meet the advance purchase or a midweek rule or a lower season? If not, get them the best price that meets their needs. Aside from asking when the client wants to go, dates, and if they've seen any prices, it's also a good idea to have these as part of your qualifying checklist. Airline preferences and frequent flyer memberships. This is where knowing your alliance is important. Someone flies a lot with United and is a 1K member with them will not be too happy when you offer them Air France. However, if you offer them something on Air Canada, that could be a possibility. As well, a person concerned about airline status may look to book a published airfare versus a net, especially if they're using upgrade certificates. So make sure you ask about that. Sometimes the price you get in business class is actually better than if the client books economy and uses upgrade certificates. I love asking clients if they have frequent flyer memberships. Asking if they want business first or premium economy. So many times we jump straight to economy. If the client is booking the top suite at the lovely Caribbean resort that's preferred with us, chances are they will also be responsive to you when you give them a quote for business or first. And if an airline offers premium economy, let the client know. It is often a great deal. And remember that there are times when you can get a great business class fare if the client is shopping very far out. Flexibility. Sometimes our clients need to have tickets that allow for changes. The cheapest fare may not allow for a refund or for changes. Basic economy fares do not allow for these changes. You can't even stand by for another flight. Direct or indirect. Now, this is where common sense comes into play. If your clients have trouble moving, it does not make sense for them to have multiple connections to get through to their next destination, even if it's the cheapest fare. If they're going for a long trip, maybe they'll be okay with 3 stops on the way there to save some money. Bags and seats. You and your clients don't have a crystal ball, but I'm going to guess if they're going to Europe for 2 weeks, the chances that they're going to only bring a carry-on are slim. You know right away that you can't recommend basic economy fares as these fares will charge for checked-in bags. A regular fare allows for 1 free checked bag. And if you upsell to premium economy, you get more baggage allowance as well as priority baggage. And if you have a family traveling, you don't want a very restrictive ticket that doesn't allow for carry-on or seat assignments. Many carriers charge for seat assignments in advance. These seats can be paid online or after ticketing, or perhaps 30 days out or within 48 hours prior to departure. A great way to remember this checklist is to think about your hub cities, alliances, and the rules of a ticket that you learned from your last session. I love asking clients questions about the trip they want to book, as well as trips they've taken in the past. It's very interesting to hear other people's stories. And if you listen carefully, they'll tell you what is important. When you have a client that is going on their honeymoon and they're setting up for this Italy trip, they're going to have different needs than a mom who's going on a trip with her 3 kids to Punta Cana. And after you've asked your questions, start your recommendation process. You'll need to know the features of the product as well as the benefits. So remember, features tell, benefits sell. So, for example, our United 1K member, when they travel with Air Canada, they'll get their miles because Air Canada is a partner carrier and also preferred partner of ours. You'd want them to get the flex fare because that offers them 100% mileage versus 50% mileage. And booking on Air Canada gives them access to Air Canada Lounge and free baggage and priority boarding. How's that, 1K'er? Let's book it. Switch selling and upselling. At times, your clients will ask for a product you may not want to support, such as a non-preferred carrier, or a carrier that earns you little or no margin, or a product you don't believe in. Should you just give them what they want? I'm going to say no. No? What? Am I not supposed to give the client what they want? What if they want the cheapest fare? What if that fare is basic economy? How would you sell them to a higher economy fare? They're still sitting in economy. How would you upsell to a premium class of service? How would you get them to book a preferred? Listen, you're the travel professional. And if you've qualified your client properly and have their back, you'll often hear what they came for is not what they're looking for. So, for example, your client wants basic economy. The fare is highly restrictive. It doesn't allow for pre-seat assignments, even for a fee. Basic economy is non-refundable, non-changeable. You can't even stand by for another flight. It doesn't allow for full mileage accrual and no upgrades allowed. And you're bored last. At times, it doesn't even allow for a carry-on bag unless it fits into the seat in front. For long-haul flights such as Europe, the basic light and light fares do not include a checked bag, and you have to pay for it. It's $60. How would you switch sell your mom with the 3 kids? How about your 1K'er? How about the honeymooners? You can talk about the features of the non-basic economy fares and describe the benefits to your clients. So for example, for the mom with her 3 kids, she absolutely wants to bring a bag on board. So you talk about how the regular economy fares allows for a bag and the kids have access to their coloring books and their games and snacks. For the 1K'er, he definitely wants to get his upgrade. So the non-basic economy fares will allow for that. And for the honeymooners, they want to be sat together. So the fare you're offering them will allow for the pre-seat assignments and they can bring their checked bags. What if your client asks to book a non-preferred carrier? Well, describe the benefits of booking a preferred carrier with you. Always talk about our relationships, describe the actual product and also the network with our preferred carrier. Don't ever put down the non-preferred, but just highlight the benefits of the actual preferred carrier. So just like you would for land, make sure you qualify your clients and sell the benefits of the product you're offering. Thanks for joining with me. I hope you learned lots. Go sell!